We're indoors again. We're indoors. Weather's let us down again.
We've done quite well.
Yeah, it's not been too bad.
And we have a fabulous guest with us.
Who is it? It's Sheila Gilmore.
Don't know about fabulous, but hey.
No, well, she's obviously just feeling generous today.
One ray of sunshine.
So, how are we?
We're fine, thanks very much.
Good.
Graham. Yeah.
Just been down to Little Rock, you said?
I have. I've just been down.
Managed to get in?
Managed to get in, no problem. I've also been at Shiskin Golf Club today. Shiskin Golf Club tea room as well.
So you had 2 lunches today?
I had a lunch and then had a juice because I went to my mother-in-law out for lunch to the tea room and then wee juice with the girls down there.
Sounds like fun.
Always is. Got to support the local economy.
We're a bit early today, actually about 30 seconds early, because these two started yakking about I don't know what, and I just needed to, so I faked it that it was 4 o'clock, but it was actually only 3:59. So, we also have a very quiet 2 people in our audience, well, 1 person and my dog. He seems to be asleep at the moment, so that's fine, that's good, that's what he should be. Can we get this thing out of the way first? Heather texted me during the week, can we use this? Do you think we should do that? And there was a thing this week saying, can we use this? And yes, I knew what it was before I even looked at the picture. This is Heather's sunflower now. Are you really proud of that, aren't you?
I'm really proud of it. I mean, Fiona gets the bus down to Lag every day and she said there's sunflowers everywhere, but she hasn't seen one as tall as that. And the competition, I think, is by. So I've missed the competition. I want to know if anybody knows what height was the winning sunflower. Mine, I know Wiley Humes was over 11 feet, I think, last year, so he won it. But this year, it's not 11 feet.
Which competition? There's a lot of sunflower competitions.
Well, I was going to say,
there.
what's to stop you entering next year's?
But with the same sunflower?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll survive that long.
Well, you've got a greenhouse.
But the rule is that you're given the seed by the org, so everybody's seeds are at the same level. You see, so you can only do it if you're in a
Yeah, but how do they prove that your sunflower came from that seed?
Well, they don't really.
See, my sunflower actually came from Cameron, my neighbour, and I thought he said it was a pepper plant. So it had gone in the greenhouse, and when it was taking the roof off the greenhouse, I thought, I don't think that's a pepper plant. So I pulled it out, and it turns out it's a sunflower. So it's now over 10 feet.
Right. Well, a lady in Shiskin got hers for the sunflower competition in Shiskin, one of my neighbours. From another one of my neighbours, and it turned out, in actual fact, I think I'm right in saying it was a cucumber plant. But it was grown from a packet of supposedly sunflower seeds, or sunflower seedlings.
So how tall did a cucumber plant grow?
I don't know, but it's all over our house. I think it was going berserk, so I think it's a cucumber plant.
So you might as well make me another cup of coffee, because we could be here quite long.
Well, if anybody out there knows the height of the winning sunflower plant, I'd like to know. That'd be cool.
Any winning sunflower plant, because you could maybe top any of them and become champion of champions.
Oh.
I also want to ask you, while we're through doing this today, if you could let us know what you're planning to do for your October holidays. I think that will be quite interesting, because obviously no one's going nowhere at the moment. Yeah, I think everyone's going to be holidaying. I don't know.
We could do house swaps.
Just be interested to know where you're going on holiday. Because the school holidays, having just ended, they're just about to begin again, aren't they? October it's about the 2nd or 3rd of October. So they've only got another full month, and then it's holidays again, and it's usually the time when all the burglars come over and steal stuff from our own houses because they're all empty. No, that's not right. Well, I mean, that's, everyone goes away, and no one's going to go away this year, so it'll be interesting to see where people are going. Because I'm not going nowhere, apart from down south, maybe. Down south.
Like White&Bay?
No, Cambridge. I might get out of Cambridge.
Maybe to Colwyn.
And take my niece's stuff back that she's left here. But anyway, she's away, so the weather's going to be better this week because she's not here. So.
Weather was good when she was here.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't as good as the week before. It was roasting.
Barbecues.
The weather has been up and down a bit. We've had, when did we get that massive rainfall? Was that Thursday night? Overnight on Thursday, and this was Knocken Gorge, where I regularly walk over this bit of the gorge with Dusty. Look at that. Sorry, Sheila, you can't see it. It's just a lot of water going down the gorge. It's just horrendous. And then you were up Glen Ashdale, were you not?
That was this morning.
This was this morning
Yeah.
on your
The light was beautiful.
on your lonely bench.
Lovely. My lonely bench.
Is that the big fall at Glen Ashton?
No,
or is
that's
that
the wee one. As when you come from the Iron Age fort, there's the wee bridge,
right?
And it was in full spate, so that was good. That's Glen Ashdale.
That's Glen
the
Ashdale.
top part, because obviously it goes again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Is that standing on the? Is that standing on the parapet?
No, I was actually standing in
I can't stand on that thing.
the viewpoint just before you get to the bench. You know, there's just the side
Yes,
part.
uh-huh.
I kind of leaned over there.
I
I didn't
can't.
think about you. I
I
thought,
can't stand on it if the water's coming down torrents. I can stand on it if I've got this fear, this joint fear of bridges and waterfalls together. I know it's a bit bizarre, but then
somebody threw you off one in a previous
that's how I am.
previous life.
So that was that. We did manage to get out this week.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was good. It's nice. To
Where
be
did we
out
go?
and about.
Where did we go?
We went to the museum, the Heritage Museum.
You've just been so careful to say that because earlier on today you said on a text message, don't forget to show the pictures from Rosaburn. It's cafe first, museum second with Heather.
Yeah, well, they do make exceedingly good cakes.
So we went around the museum. So this was little. It was a lovely day, wasn't it?
It was a really nice day, and they've got a huge I don't know if you call it a gazebo, but big sheltered area out the back, so you don't even need to go into the tea room. You can sit outside. It was lovely.
Lots of
I think it
things
was a
to say.
staff tea break, so there were all the staff were sitting there. It was really nice catching up with some people.
2 things for the kids to identify there as well.
Yeah. Can you see that? Sorry, Sheila.
Yeah, we had the petrol pump and the telephone box, and then the old smithy, and then we abused their we abused their display by hanging one of our buffs on the they're going to shoot me for that, I'm sure.
Cool.
And then of course we have to show you the most important picture of all, which was
that was really good. It was really good. That was a highlight. That was a Guinness cake with a soft cheese topping.
I think the museum, the Heritage Museum, is absolutely fantastic.
It's brilliant.
I think it's probably one of the most under-promoted fantastic attractions that the island has, to be totally honest with you.
It's the resources.
Very modestly done.
It's the resources they've got. I sent
Yes.
someone was commenting, because we've got that picture of the model of Goat Fell, and I detail about the air crashes, and he was really interested in the air crashes. I said, well, there's one there and there was one up there, and he said, is there any more? And I said, yeah, go down to the museum. And he came back in today and he said, I couldn't believe the amount of information we got out of that.
I think it's because it's been run by volunteers and who are extremely dedicated, and over the years the resource has just grown and grown, and I just think it's just fantastic. It's one of my very favourite places to visit as regards as an attraction in the island. I just love the museum.
And
love
you can
everything
do it.
about it.
You can
They
do it
involve the school
in the wet.
children too. They've written. I mean, sometimes I remember they did a project.
They
with
used
the-
to, that stopped a
Did they
long
not
time
do
ago
it?
now, and they don't
Did
do it. It's a real loss. The Arm Schools Heritage Project was a great thing, and it was really there was a few people in the museum, but really it was run through the high school. They took the lead in it, and the teacher that was involved in it left the island, and it just ceased to be. But they did a great book. They actually produced a book with a lot of the research done, and I think it was great because you had young first and second year students talking to people in the village who remembered, and their villages and other villages who remembered life going by, and it captured.
The book you're talking about,
It's fabulous.
the book you're talking about was and still is the biggest contract I've taken on.
Yeah, I mean, it was a super book.
Because it took us 3 years because
So much.
Maureen brought the stuff in to me, and it was a pallet of paperwork, and we'd scanned it all in when scanners were very new in the mid-90s.
I thought it was great.
And the really funny story about that book was because it was lottery funded and all this, so they had to go through all this red tape to get the. And if you've got a copy of the book, you'll know it's on A4. It's 200 pages A4. And just as I was coming to the end of the proofing, Maureen disappeared off to their chalet in France. And I said, well, you need to. This is an awfully big contract for me. You need to proofread this. And she said, well, I'm off tonight to France for 6 months, for this whole summer. So they invited me down, so I flew down to Bergerac and stayed with them for a week in their little French chalet, and we finished the book down there, so it was great.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, it was very good. We went for pizza in Perigeux, which
but it's a fantastic book, and I just think
you.
it's such a pity that actual project hasn't continued, because
I
I think
would,
it
yeah.
really
Maybe start
helped
a new
instill
one.
the
I would like to redo it,
ethos
actually, reprint
and
it.
culture of the island, and gave sort of young people as they were coming through an understanding of what, you know, some of the characters in the community,
Yep.
what the island was like, and how, you know, and how it's evolved.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a loss, actually.
If I knew you were going to talk about it, I would have got it, because I think I've got one in the other room. But the Isle of Arran Heritage Book, it's called, and if you've got a copy, keep a hold of it, because they do turn up at Arcas occasionally, but they're quite expensive and they get out of it. And because it was lottery funded, they weren't allowed to reprint it without the permission of all these grant bodies and everything else, so it's never been reprinted, and I don't have the original files now. They're 20 odd years old now, so
I mean, obviously this year's a bit different, but they've always got something.
Something
Going.
different on.
Yeah.
You know,
The staff are great there too, as you've just said. The tea room's lovely. You can't beat one of Judith Moran's.
Judith and
Right.
Rosalind, Judith and Rosalind, and who else works down there? I don't know.
No, but Judith runs it.
Judith runs it.
She's
Yes,
the boss.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole crowd of them in there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Alison's saying the bathing box has been painted and it looks fab.
Oh yeah, that's that one, the blue one.
Yeah, yeah,
That one.
yep. It does look good.
So is that an original? Because we weren't sure. It almost looked too new to be an original bathing box. But I think it
I think it
was.
is one. I think it's one of the original. It's one of the beach huts.
One from the Brodick.
It's a
They
bigger
call it
than I
beach box. I'll just
remember.
call it beach hut.
Yeah.
I'm bigger than I remember. I didn't
I know.
remember them having windows or anything. I
Yeah,
thought they were more basic.
they were kind of basic, the ones they had at Brodick, but there were also some private ones as well. And they had them at Blackwaterfoot too. I don't remember them at Blackwaterfoot particularly, but the ones like Alexander's had one. Theirs was red and white striped, and it sat out. You can still see the wee bit of concrete that it sat out on, because those gardens across the road from what was Alexander's, Lindy, they all had their own private gardens across the road by the beach, and the Alexanders had their bathing hut sitting out in there. One theirs was red and white striped. Theirs was very funky.
Do you think maybe? I mean, this year obviously there's so many people coming to the island. Instead of going abroad or going on different holidays, and even locals, the beaches have been full of people and families having picnics and more than normal. Do you think maybe we could maybe get a campaign to get the beach huts back?
Well, I don't know where you put them in
Well,
Brodick.
yeah, hang on a minute.
You've got any beach, do you?
We've got to worry about the beach first, because there's a big thing in the banner saying that the Fisherman's Walk is in jeopardy as well, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's
And
not here in
the
5
green
years.
there at Brodick is actually it's in a dip as well.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of other things to be thunk about, but you know it's thunk. But I mean, it's lovely to see people enjoying the beaches and you know getting out. And I think something that lockdown has done is instilled in everybody the importance of family and doing things with your families. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Picnics
been really
down
nice.
there.
So you see local people doing things that you've never seen them perhaps enjoying or taking the time, or maybe not, they've never had the time before to do things with their families, and now they're saying actually that you know this is really important, so we're going to do that more.
We even went down to the beach with a flask and sat and just for a half hour, which normally as a family we haven't done in a long time. You know, when the kids are wee, you do that, but then you can stop.
I've a friend who and her family who go over to Blackwaterfoot Beach. They just love swimming, and they go to Blackwaterfoot Beach, and they're there all day. They come from the side of the island, and they're there all day. And Linda just loves swimming and loves being in the water, and it's great. You know, people just enjoying it, all the kids running around, you know, the grandkids, and it's just kind of really nice to see that. It's kind of getting back to basics in a way.
And on a day like today, you'd have dolphins.
And on a day like today, you do have dolphins, more dolphins than you can shake a stick at.
There was a lot of dolphins, wasn't there? When was that you were saying?
Well, yesterday we reckoned there was probably there must have been 200. I mean, I honestly couldn't. Somebody will say you don't get dolphins in schools of 200, but I mean, honestly, the whole vision of Blackwaterfoot Bay for about 40 minutes was just filled with these. I thought they were porpoises. Somebody else said they were dolphins.
There was
and
3.
then today there was loads again. Not as many, but definitely dolphins today. You could see that they were right out the water.
There was 300 in a shoal off California a couple of weeks back, off Dana Point. So they do this.
Trying to tell me it's the same group.
It might well be. They didn't look like they were tanned very much, but who knows? shall we just go through what else is in here? Because we've got news from the boat. The boat's had its... Well, I'm really going to apologise for this because I haven't told you what I've got written down here, but there's a Mr. Tim Hare taken on the boat things. So, first question is, how much more money is there to pay?
Oh no, that's really bad. Boom, boom.
Yeah, it was a slow one.
Well, all right, okay. So it's had its nose trimmed. Has it not? Yeah. So the big bulbous nose has got. What are they going to put?
What I want to know is, I mean, if you build a boat and there's a lot of design goes into a boat, things are all there for a reason. So now they've decided that they don't like it because it doesn't fit. So they've whacked the front part of the nose off. Is that going to affect the way the boat sails now?
No, I think it's not. It didn't fit. I don't think it didn't link. It didn't tie in with maritime law or something. There was a reason that they couldn't do it.
It was ugly.
Well, it was nothing to do with that. It was to do with the actual operation of the ship. It wasn't. It didn't conform to what it needed to conform to.
I think your question is irrelevant because I don't ever think we're going to see this thing. But anyway, we'll soon find out. But anyway, but that was in the banner this week that it's been worked on. But it's only due back at Ferguson's at the end of the month. So,
There's a paint job on the outside. It looks a bit...
Well, they've been painting it for the cameras every time someone turns up with an iPhone. They're out with a bottle of paint just to make it look like they're doing something. But anyway, I'm not going to get... Because Sheila is also involved in the ferry committee, so we won't go too far into that.
Well, I'm just there representing tourism in the ferry committee.
Right, okay. Oh, speaking of tourism...
Oh, yes.
I have to say this. I dropped your golf passes. There is a golf pass available every year. And it's been going on for a long time, and a lot of people don't realise it, because I've been printing golf passes off and on for a good few years now.
Yes, so you can play all 7 courses, just pay one fee and you get a...
And how much, have you got the price? Because we didn't put the price...
At the moment it's 110, but I think we've held last year's price, so it's £110, and it gets you a round of golf on every golf course, and in the 9-hole courses you get 2 rounds. Unfortunately, this summer Lochranza has closed, partly due to the pandemic because there were issues, but also because one of the machines went on fire and just difficulties generally, which is unfortunate. But the golf pass is valid for 12 months.
And locals can buy these as well. You don't have to be...
Really?
It gets you a round of golf on Broadgate, Longlash and Whiting Bay, a round at Shiskin, 2 at Machray and 2 at Corrie, and Lochranza when she's back up and running in whatever format that is. So and it's
well, it's good value.
It is great value.
And we printed off the golf passes, and I said to you on a text message that I've left them outside your door, and I didn't realise what an achievement I had done there, because Sheila's office at Visit Arran is in the Scottish Tourist Board building down at the pier. And when I walked in the door, I was told not to touch a certain table. And this is where I think some of the regulations have gone a bit haywire, because they have their own quarantine table. Now, if you're like me, if you get an Amazon delivery, you're in that box really quick. But leaving boxes unopened for 24, 48 hours because COVID might jump out was a
Well, to be fair to the staff, they are doing what they have been told to do by Visit Scotland.
Absolutely right.
But
I think it's just gone a little bit.
I mean, we're not allowed. We're subtenants, so we're not allowed in the building. Which is why I was a bit surprised.
Even if you sit in the quarantine table for 24 hours.
But I was a bit surprised that Graham had actually dropped the leaflets off. Surprised and then horrified, actually. I was more horrified probably than surprised. And
I didn't cough in the box.
And I thought he meant he'd left them outside the door in the rain.
They're not going to get wet. And
I said, are they not going to get wet?
I'll just leave you 1,000 leaflets out in the rain. I just hope you can get down the next 5 minutes. Anyway, but it's just, I don't know. The regulations have gone a bit haywire on that one from, as you say, from Scottish Tourist Board.
It's from Visit Scotland. And this is where people get mixed up between Visit Arran and Visit Scotland. Visit Scotland is the national tourism organisation, so they're publicly funded by central government, and their marketing campaigns get supported by local authorities. So they're basically publicly funded, whereas Visit Arran is privately funded. We work for the businesses of the island directly, who contribute and they finance us. So that's the difference. So in a way, we are the old Isle of Arran Tourist Board, if you would like.
Yeah.
In a way, that's kind of what we are, a little bit more.
Is that not your building first?
Well, it was so it was Isle of Arran Tourist Board, and then it was the Air Shannon Tourism And then it became Visit Scotland, so it's kind of progressed on. And part of the old destination or tourism organisations, part of the deal with going into Visit Scotland was that they would give them the use of their property. And then, of course, Aran businesses were a wee bit upset because they'd lost their identity, and so that therefore, Destination Aran came about first. And when that proved to be quite successful, they've got some funding to try that out. Some of the businesses thought, well, let's take it forward and run a Visit Aran and see where it goes. And the rest is history, as they say. So in 2007, and Visit Aran has been going since 2007.
Yep.
That's fabulous.
And it's grown and grown. It's good. Well, I have to say that.
That's your salary paid for another year, I'm sure.
Don't know if it is. Anyway.
Okay, what else? You want to do the co-op?
Well, I was thinking, we should do the co-op because, well, we did mention last week that we won an award.
Okay,
which-
I have to say that having been sent the pictures, if you've not had your dinner,
Oh,
what? Oh, come on, they're a bit bright.
they look very happy.
Look at the state of that lot, eh?
Was this just in Scotland or was it in the UK?
It was the UK.
That's fantastic. They won an award. I mean, that really is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So you can't see. You just that
That's
here,
all
but you
right.
can see them.
Well, it might be, mind you, you're wearing bright and bright yourself, but and there's Peter with his, I'm not sure what they're up to, but anyway, that was them celebrating the thing that we mentioned last week, didn't we? The best team in Britain, as it says in the banner.
But they're also continuing with their goodwill. They've got some hampers they're putting up as prizes. So I think you just nominate. If you can nominate somebody, you can do it through the community page and they'll decide who gets the hampers. I think there's 10 hampers. Is it 10 hampers?
But I think all I'm saying is I think when they celebrate next time, we all need to wear sunglasses because they've got sunglasses here. Look at that. Look at Peter's sunglasses.
I'm not
Fabulous.
sure why they had the flowers in their hair.
It'd be really nice to see people, and I don't mean any derogatory, this is maybe doesn't sound right, but nice to see people getting rewarded who've done something over and above their work role, if you see what I mean. A lot of people get nominated, but that was their job. I think it'd be really nice to see people nominated for that who do things above and beyond. That people maybe folk like
Who's the man that
Kenny Morrison that does all that.
Yeah, the only issue with that is that self-employed people and single person businesses don't get to reward themselves.
No, that's true. No, you're right. But a lot of other people, that I'm not going to say, but they were nominating some people who were there, but who were paid to be doing what they were doing, if you see what I mean, and that's a different type of thing. I think you've got to be really... I would like to see people getting rewarded that have done things above and beyond, that...
Well, that's what we had.
Like the man that does the paths.
Like the man that does, like Kenny.
Like Kenny, well, I mean, he's obviously our candidate for one of our Oscars at the end of the year, and we've mentioned this a couple of times, and it's never.
We would definitely nominate
It's never really.
him for
It's never really
an
taken off in the public view. The comments have never been, but I think we'll just do it anyway, and I think once we've done it once, I think it will pick up.
Yeah. Do you get anyone you want to nominate?
Okay, I've just nominated him, Kenny Morrison.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to nominate him too. So there's two.
Oh, it's two nominations.
Kenny drives around in a blue estate car. You'll recognise him. He's normally up to his knees in mud and dirt and spades and driving around delivering logs to people or whatever.
He clears paths and he runs Ormadale. He's the
He
volunteer that runs
unclears all the drains in Ormadale. Yeah.
Sports Association.
Yeah.
He does no amount. I think I couldn't even begin to say stuff that really affects the whole island. But like the Fisherman's Walk stuff, and also, as I say, the Sports Association, which is used by lots of clubs island wide.
And he's also connected with those in the Coastal Way and Air and Access and all that, because every time I invoice them, Kenny walks through the door.
Henry Murdo would nominate Henry Murdo too, because Henry's
Yeah.
propagating the Iron White Beam, and he also is a path builder. He does a lot of stuff, so just Colin Guthrie. I think there's somebody I've missed out. I think there's 4 of them do them on a regular basis, and I just think these are the people that
David Aitchison, he paints all the bus shelters
Shelters
in
in
Whiting
Whiting
Bay,
Yeah.
which were going to be demolished, I think, at one point, and they took them on, and instead of just painting them, he's actually made them into features all the way through Whiting Bay.
There's Chris Anfis saying that Kenny's the man.
And
I'm going to paint the front of the McLaren Hotel's wall this next year.
That's exciting.
It's gone from
You
white
can get
to...
arrested for graffiti.
It's gone from white to mildew, so I think, well, I've had no response at all from the owner. So I think the next stage is to get... Well, I've already written to North Ayrshire Council asking them if they'll have a look at the place, because there are windows, many windows open, and quite a few people in there, I think, now. So.
It needs to come down.
Yeah, but that's what they're wanting. They're wanting
Well,
to
yeah,
pull
we
it
need
down
to get
because then that gives them a free site. They don't need to pay the demolition.
Oh, we
Yeah.
can fill it with
Call me
camper
We need to get-
cynical, but
We need to get the people out first before it comes down.
Chris Trail, he's another person I would nominate. Chris Trail.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Chris does up at Loughranza is incredible. Out with his road in the centre.
Yeah.
He's, people get queues of people.
We'll-
He's along with coffees and teas and
Yeah,
after.
I think we'll revisit this when we come out of the whatever season we're in at the moment, and it gets quieter. Then we'll revisit the Aaron Oscars, and we'll get in touch with people like our audience and say, right.
But certainly for the co-op hamper, there's
Yeah.
a few names
Yeah.
can go in the pot.
Speaking of prizes,
Oh yeah.
if you have not got one of our buffs or candles or mugs, there's a link on the page now, I hope, that I've put up for this stuff. If you buy anything this week, we're going to put all the names of people that have bought anything this week into a hat. Dusty will draw it next week, and there's a bottle of 10-year-old Aaron whiskey for the winner, presuming that they're over 18. If you're under 18, there'll be something else.
You'll get a sweetie.
No, it'll be something. I mean, that's worth 30 odd quid.
You'll get a sweetie. If
You're
you're under
just-
18, you'll get a sweetie.
No. Anyway, if you buy anything online, it's on our Aaron Graphics website this week, and really, I'm not just saying this to try and generate extra cash. The money does go into gadgets that we've got on and stuff like that, but it also, whenever we do these competitions with Aaron Graphics, nobody enters them, and we end up giving the stuff away to one person all the time. It's usually the same person as well. So people just don't enter competitions.
Well, it depends how you share it.
So yeah, well
Come through
that's
Visit
it.
Aaron, tag Visit Aaron.
We'll tag Visit Aaron on
And
this. So
I
if you
can
buy one of
imagine
our
get some
buffs,
people
the
entering.
buffs are very popular because obviously people are wearing them at the moment. Mugs and coasters and all that. Everything's £10 each, so you can just buy one thing. And we'll post it to you anywhere in the UK, and there's a good chance you'll win a bottle of whiskey. Fairly good chance.
And the
I would say.
candles smell of cake.
And the candles smell of cake. Did you
So
smell?
it's a locality.
I don't know. Smell them.
You'll have to waft it towards you.
I don't want to spill it.
Mind you, you've had 2 dinners and 3 lunch breaks today, so
Oh, it does smell of cake. Oh, it smells like icing actually.
there you go. Mark Harwood, there are staff at the Big Co who daily do far more than they are paid for. Congratulations to a very special team.
There you go.
Yep, there you go.
Man in the know.
A man in the know. He would be in the know.
That's great. I
Yep.
mean, it's great they've done so well. That's often.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
Liz is putting something up for people who've gone above and beyond, I think it's nice when it's people that's not their job.
Well, Mark's one of them as well,
Yeah,
because
Mark's one of the team.
Mark busks
Yeah.
and puts all the money into charities.
Yeah.
He does really well with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
good.
Right. Next. You've got something. Oh, you wanted to ask Sheila something.
Well, if we knocked down the McLaren, we could have a big space to put all the camper vans.
Wait a minute. I've got plans for that place.
And just so you.
Oh, till
all that
I've
sorted out.
got the 1.7 million. I need.
Yes.
So at the moment,
Go ahead.
we're looking at, we've been talking to some camper vans and things and asking them, because some of them like to camp informally, they don't want to camp in villages or at sites, and just trying to get a wee bit of feedback from them to see would they, for example, camp in villages. So grabbing the bull by the horns, I just went and knocked in some camper vans
Oh,
this week,
rather you
this
than me.
weekend.
That
And
was brave.
Should have videoed it. We could have.
And so it was quite interesting because they all said, yeah, they would like a hookup, they would be interested in a hookup in Broadick and waste disposal and everything in Broadick. But they didn't know that they would stay in a village. That's why, it's just interesting to know what it is that makes people want to informally camp, because that's the term, it's not wild camping.
Right.
Why they would want to informally camp out with a village or whatever, when the villages are beautiful. They're not, we're not, I mean, if you informally camped, as you say, at the McLaren, we get that stunning view. So but they don't, it's really hard to pinpoint what it is. Basically, they just want to be away from everybody at the moment. But I think there is a will to try possibly and get something done in Broadick.
Can you just briefly tell us what the law is regarding camping anywhere on Arran? Because I'm asked that frequently, and it's always a bit of a grey area. As
There
far as I can-
isn't anything that says you can't. you can't camp anywhere more than, I think the camping law is more than, is it informally camping, I think it's for 2 nights or 3 nights. There is a limit in the Camping Act. I would have to go back
in
and check
the same place, I presume.
The same place. You can't really stop anybody from camping anywhere in Arran. You know, but, I mean, all you can do is promote being responsible, and a lot of the hire companies are doing that now with camper vans and motorhomes. They're really on that, like Camper, the professional association, they're really on it, telling people, you know, you've got to spend locally, you know, don't block people's views, make sure you're courteous, considerate.
Don't empty your tanks on the beach.
Yeah, all of that.
But that opens up another grey area. I mean, who is going to report them on the first day and then say, oh, you've been there for 2 days?
Well,
there was a tent in the forest up Goat Fell for about 6 months last year until it was trashed. And it was only trashed because Dusty jumped on it.
Yeah, so
it had been empty for
you're always going to get issues around that. But yeah, you could report it. It's the same thing happens maybe over at the forestry at King's Caves. But they cannot camp. There can be local bylaws, for example, down at, you know, they're not allowed to park in the campsites for 2 nights. You know, the campsites in car parks in the village. They're not allowed to be there for, you know, overnight. There's no overnight parking. You'll see the signs.
Yeah.
So there are things like that. What we can't do in Arran is we cannot limit the number of vehicles coming to the island and say they must say they're staying at a specific site or whatever, because Arran is seen as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
So a lot of them will come over on the 10:15 boat, and then they'll get the, you know, the 4 o'clock ferry or whatever it is up at Lachranza, so they won't actually stay in the island, they'll move on. So it's a really difficult thing actually for the likes of Calmac then to have to manage that. So we have to look at other options, and one of them is, and you know, Graham, we've got a leaflet, because you print it, the camping guide to the island guide for camping, and we do hand that. We go through a lot of those, handing those out. They go out in the ferry, and, you know, just to encourage people to be a bit more responsible.
I think they'll be camping outside the co-op fairly soon. Some of the queues out there this week have been quite busy.
I think we're very lucky in the island. We've been, you know, people have been more considerate. I'm not saying it never happens that we've found tents up. I mean, that's just tents up Glen Ashdale, and there are camper vans. Yeah. You see, you know, I was over the other side of the island, and every lay-by had a camper van in it one day, and you think, but even then they were still pushed in far enough, and you think, well, if there's so many on, you know, somewhere to go, it's a difficult
it's a balance. And I think people say, oh, they come and they don't spend money, and that's not really true.
No, I don't believe that.
Generally, people in camper vans, they don't spend, or motorhomes, they, you know, if they go away for a week, they're not going to spend a week sitting in that van. They want to get out, they want to spend money, so they go to restaurants, they go to cafes. And we do get queries from people, and this is something actually Nigel and Cathy at Lachranza campsite promote. People park up their motorhomes and they use the buses. Yeah. So I get queries from people, in fact we had some this week, from people saying, well, if we bring our motorhome, where could we park our motorhome? We want to informally camp, but where can we park our motorhome so we can then use the bus? Yeah. So my recommendation is, well, can you recommend sites? And we don't do that. I say, well, actually it would be inappropriate to do that when we've got campsites on the island.
And I think it's fairly safe.
The campsites are fairly full, to be fair.
But I think it's fairly safe to say that the one gripe that most people will have with caravans is not actually on the road and all this, it's actually the shorefront of Brodick, because they park up there, and it doesn't matter whether they're more than 5 metres long and go into the road by a metre or so. It's the fact that you can't see down the road if you've parked right next to them, or they come along and park. And the number of times that I see people running jump out of their car, look down the road, jump back in the car and back out, because they can't see and they're on their own, like me, for instance, if I'm driving on my own. That's a really, it's a hazardous bit to park, and if there's a better place to park, then I would suggest you find it, because
There are a lot of locals with camper vans that use them on the island, and most of the ones down at the co-op, the wee co-op car park, are local people out for a night out, and they use it as a sleepover before they head back home.
I didn't know that.
Did you know?
No.
Is that why you've got one?
Yes, it's really handy, you know. If you've got a gig over the other end of Blackwater Foot, then you park up, do your gig, and then you can go.
I think the big thing about any informal camping, and I hate to bring this up, and I don't know what your language is like, if we're allowed to say this word, but the SH1T, that's the big thing,
yes,
you know, for everybody, and everything comes back to that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just saying to people, you know, that have tents, or if they're out walking in the hills, you know, there is a protocol about going to the toilet and you know, and having a nature wear, a nature poo, you know, to make sure you're far enough away from water, please, and take a trowel.
Take a trowel.
The trowel to dig the
Everyone needs a
hole,
trowel.
you know, it's all that kind of stuff, and people, but we don't talk about it because it's like, toilet. But you've got to, because that's actually, and I've been saying to Visit Scotland, if they could do something quirky and funny about that, you know, I think that would be more buying.
Also emptying places, you know, I know in Whiting Bay you can empty your tank. I mean, the thing is, if you have a camper van, then there is going to come a point where you're going to need to empty the tank.
Again, that's been looked at, but there are 2 grey waste disposal units in there.
I just don't know how it works, and I don't think I ever want to.
Well, there you go. So no camper vanning for you then, eh, Graham?
No, not unless it's one of those massive £4 million one that's got the Ferrari underneath it.
Yes, so that when people park next to you, they
But
can't
they
see to get
do, the people
That's
that
it.
come on the island with camper vans definitely spend money on the island. Because any time, I mean, if I've been out playing gigs, there's people that are in camper vans, they're all out having dinner, spending money in the local places. So yeah.
There's Yvonne saying she's been to Gia and been in a camper van.
It's lovely. Gia's beautiful. I love Gia.
There's not much, yeah, but yeah, you do like it, don't you, in Gia?
It's my second favourite.
It's a bit kind of
after Anne.
extra remote though, isn't it?
No, it's not remote at all. You can go there for lunch and
So
come
I'm just desperate for a Burger King at the moment.
Oh, Graham.
Well, I've not been off the islands. But, I mean, we've got someone here from Bristol, and you know, just how many times a year do you go to a fast food restaurant?
Never.
So all the time, she says. So I just miss it. Just once every. I just want a couple of Krispy Kreme donuts and a Big Mac or a Whopper or something. And I know I'm not alone. And I just going away at the moment is just too much hassle.
Well, see, I like my seafood, so I've been away to Skipness and also to Hello Dusty and also to Gia, and we've had seafood both times. Hello, darling. And so it's lovely. I love it. I just love it. Yeah.
She won't give you a bun either.
Fast food doesn't do it for me.
No, you can get fed later, Dusty. He's got a ravenous appetite at the moment. I think it's because the temperature's gone down. He's eating more. But
whatever.
anyway.
Is that something we can all say? Temperature's gone down, so you need to eat a bit more.
Well, you eat more in the winter, don't you? Generally, people eat more in
That's
the
because we
winter.
don't do so much.
And it's all salads in the summer, isn't it? Or it should be.
Yeah.
I've been deprived by salads this last week or so, actually. So we've done. This. Go on. You've got another.
I was just going to say the feedback from people coming to Arran in light of the COVID and all the different regulations that are in place, I think has been great. I mean, the response and what I'm hearing is people are really happy and feel welcome.
I think the businesses have done particularly well. I take my hat off. There's a lot of extra investment that's gone in, a lot of extra time, whether that be employing extra staff to stand at doors or whatever. And I think hats off to them all. They've all looked at ways round it. When tourism opened up on the island, I think officially on the 15th of July, I think we did pretty well, the number of businesses that were open. But since then, in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks now, it's an amazing, there's hardly any businesses that haven't opened up. A lot of them waited to see how others would operate. Understandably, you want to see how it's going to be managed.
And I'm sorry to go back to food, but that includes the Chinese, and they've not even bothered telling me what's going on.
Well, I would imagine, and I may be wrong here, and I don't want to speak out of turn, Graham, but I would imagine the Chinese will be something possibly to do with the age of the people running that, and maybe
yes.
they're a bit anxious.
Yeah.
So we have to be patient.
I'm missing my Singapore fried rice.
But you can go
as
and
well
get
as my
yourself a
Benedict.
nice curry from Umlash if you want. And there's lots of takeaway options. You're in Brody, you've got the
number,
parlour,
yeah.
you've got the pizza.
I'm surprised they haven't said, do you remember you used to be a chef?
And there's that
But-
too. But there's lots of places to take away food.
I'm hearing that the bookings for October, November are really, really good. They're
Forward
quite
bookings are
healthy.
looking quite healthy. I mean, we still want to do a wee bit of a push in that for some of the businesses, but yeah, bookings are looking quite.
Do you think, I mean, going back to what we said earlier on about people going away on holiday and probably not going away on holiday now in October, do you think that some of the businesses will stay open because they think that...
I think businesses are considering that, and I've been speaking to quite a lot of them actually on this subject, and a lot of them, to be fair, we've a lot of businesses stay open all year anyway that people maybe aren't aware of. A lot of them are considering that. The issue is that we need to make sure people have things to do. It's all very well having accommodation, but then if there's nothing for people to do when they come here, that makes it a very...
Well, then it's all weather dependent, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
if the
well, it
weather's
makes it a
nice, it
good
doesn't matter.
and you want people to come and have a good experience in the winter, and we'll be working on that, the Winter Wonder Island campaign. We're doing that again.
And if it's nice, you can...
So that's
Well, the ferry is what the ferry is we have to work with that. You can't, you know, there's no point in us saying, well, we won't do anything because the ferry might not sail.
Do you think they'd put
We've got to
another
suit
one on
it all.
that keep a second ferry? maybe?
Where would they get that ferry from, Heather?
Yeah, that's
So
China.
we're exactly the same as we're exactly the same as all the other
I know,
islands. We have the
I
same
know.
issues, and we just have to work with what we've got, you know, and encourage people to come for short breaks. And also encourage everybody to take out a decent travel insurance, regardless whether that's because of COVID or whether it's people should not be travelling in the UK now without travel insurance. And it's amazing the number of people who don't think about that.
Yeah.
And check your travel insurance.
Well, the other thing,
things
talking about
that-
travel insurance, most people have got travel insurance that don't even realise they've got it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a Royal Bank's Gold account or whatever, you've got travel insurance.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
there's all sorts of insurance tied into your household insurance. Sometimes that automatically covers you for travel insurance. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm usually covered about 3 times over.
So there's lots of options, you know,
yeah.
and that's probably illegal, we would just say, Graham. So 3 loads of travel insurance. I think that's probably illegal, but we'll just pretend you never said that.
Do your research. That's all. Because I'm now at a certain age and my house is covered by a certain insurance company. I get my travel insurance thrown on top of
You're
that.
trying to sell us with Saga or something. We've got skin on here.
Just fortunately for you, the actual video is just frozen for a while, so we're still here, but we're stuck on a video. It'll catch up in a second when the phone
It kind of
pops in.
does it at this point.
I know it's always about
that.
it's always about 30 or 40 minutes in. So just excuse us for a second while the thing will reset. Right, are we?
I think what else?
Have we-
Anything else you want to bring up or talk about?
What do you
I think
think?
on the whole, I think the island is recovering better than I expected it to. It's how long we can keep this going.
We just have to, I mean, everybody has to be sensible about it, and that's the downside of it, is that people think, oh, we're getting on fine now, so we don't need to bother. We do still need to maintain, you know, hand sanitising, we do need to wear face masks, all that kind of jazz has to still happen, Heather. And people can be a wee bit blasé and think, well, we don't need to bother, but you do, you know. And I know you were saying how extreme that is in the Visit Scotland office with the quarantine table and everything, but you know, if that's what they've got to do, Visit Scotland has decreed that, then that's what has to be done, you know. And we'll just have to wait and see. Lots of people are very pessimistically, what would you say, optimistic about it by saying, well, by that time we'll have, you know, a second spike, you know, and you're thinking, well, we don't, you know, you can't live your life in ifs and buts.
Yeah.
You just have to, it's a bit like the ferry might not sail, but we just have to get on with it, you know, so.
Right, we're not. Oh, we're back now. Just this very second, we've come back. So if I disappeared for a while, I was just checking the cameras. But we're okay. Yeah,
We do have something lined up for next week.
we do.
He's
Finally,
going to eat your bag, he's going to eat your bag.
Not that.
Dusty,
Oh,
get
no,
out.
No, not that one. Not that one. No, that's a special bag. Special bag.
You can have a piece of this.
No.
Here,
This is a beautiful
Come on,
bag
please.
made by Nicky Bonnie. It's a special one.
come here.
A pooch bag.
This week, sorry about the interruption. It's getting more like Blue Peter every day. This thing. Come here. There. We are going to see the alpacas on Wednesday. Have you been? You must have been in.
I've not seen, funnily enough, I have been up at Balmichael, but I've not seen the alpacas. I've seen Bellevue's alpacas.
Yes. Yeah, I've been up there.
Here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite funny because Bellevue's got the girls and Balmichal's got the boys.
Yeah.
Until we figure out.
So,
Oh, I think they're figuring.
who brought these? Did you bring these? Audience. Great. She always has one of these after she has a Burger King. It's true. So we're off to see alpacas on Wednesday, I think it is.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm looking forward to that. I think they've got quite big now.
And they'll show you that you might get into the glamping pods when you're there, maybe.
Okay.
They're amazing as well.
Yeah, I wanted to see
I think
those
they look
as
like
well.
Holthouse.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, they do barrels, little barrels, they're lovely.
So we'll do that. We're not sure whether we'll do anything live down there or recorded or something, but we'll
But you'll
We'll do
have to
something.
record
Dusty's-
something with the...
Dusty's
something
panting is
with-
being picked up on my microphone.
Right, you need to do something with the... when
can't
you're
eat
doing
that.
the alpaca walking, you'll need to get that live, because that would be
Yeah,
amazing.
no, we'll do something like
See
that.
all the boys.
Okay.
Although, what is it they say, never work with animals?
Well,
really must stop eating it on camera. You can hear every little bit of that going down my throat.
Just blame it.
And Dusty panting. Yeah. You've been quite good today. Right, we can't load any more Facebook chats, unfortunately. When the camera freezes up, it freezes up our Facebook chats. You're not on, are you, Sarah? No? No, thanks for following us.
Look, it's there.
Oh, is it there? Has anybody said anything
I just think maybe I might.
that I need to know about? Because we lose our chat feed. Just in case we need to respond to anybody else.
You can always do that afterwards.
Questions for Sheila, there might be some. Anyway, no, I think we're done. Are we done?
Questions?
Are we done? Yeah.
If anyone had a question, but we can't see them.
Yeah, no, if anyone's got a question, then tough, we can't see it anymore, so.
Feel free to email any questions to info@visitaron.com.
Is it visitaron.com?
Yes, we are. Visitaron.com.
What's visitaron.co.uk?
Don't know. It's not us.
So the
Visitaron. I think there isn't.
so the tagline I put up earlier on, that one, that should be .com.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's a UK company, I just...
No, visitaron.com and there is one visitaron.net, but that ain't us.
Right, okay. Oh no, that's right,
You
okay.
know, 18,000 visitors a month. We want to make sure people get the right website.
I know.
Definitely.
We bought a bunch of websites in the very early part of internet, and my colleague at the time has got iliveaaron.co.uk and still got it now.
Ah.
Yeah, so we bought quite a few up and sold them on and did stuff when you could legally do that. Right, okay. So it's alpacas.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Yep, that's fine. We'll see you at Alpaca Country on Wednesday if you're about. But
well, I'm in Shiskin actually because I'm working from home. What time are you up at Alpaca?
I don't know. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know.
Maybe
I'll let you know.
I'll need to see what else has been down.
Did they have a tea room there?
No, there's no tea room there. But there are. You could go to the tea room at Shiskin Golf Club. You can do that. Or
Anywhere we go, if you're watching and you want to invite us round to anywhere, just make sure you've got coffee and cake for one.
Or lovely cafe time as well. Go up there and have a wee
For
tea
one,
day.
it seems to be a prerequisite. If you
Yes,
you need
yeah,
you need
you should.
cake and coffee.
There's plenty places.
I
you
just
need to.
but I can take the dog for a wander.
Local businesses are great to support, and it's great to see so many
want
locals
that bit?
eating out as well. Eat out to help out. We never talked about eat out to help out for a tenner. This is the last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There are various businesses in Ireland.
I got a surprise at Roseburn because it was cheaper and I wasn't expecting it. I hadn't thought about it, and yeah, you get your discount. So
Yeah,
it's
we're out for my
fantastic.
tea on Tuesday night at Ormond.
Is this why you had 2 lunches today? Just
Did
just
have
making the
2
most of it.
Did I have 2 lunches at one? One and a juice. Thank you.
I've just been using my laugh button for the first time. Anyway, everyone's heard Dusty eating that bit of cake just then. So. Right, okay, well, I think we're done. We'll be... thanks very much. Yeah.
Didn't actually realise I was on.
Where are we next week? Do we know where we are next week?
Yes, I think we've got guests next week.
Have we?
Yes. But I'm leaving
I
it
know
just now,
nothing.
it's a surprise. I'll let you know midweek.
It'll be a surprise to me too, if you don't tell me nothing.
It'll be a surprise, it'll be fun.
All right,
Don't
thanks.
forget
Yeah, don't forget to buy something, because it helps.
And the competition.
It helps buy
We've half paid for what we're talking through these little microphone gadgets, and they've really been good. But we've still got a little bit we need to get. Cordless headphones. We need a wireless headphone.
Oh, like Britney Spears.
Well, it's just so that if we're across the road or something, and we can communicate like that. But anyway, that's what's happening. So we're still investing a little bit.
Dusty is determined. Heather's nice if it
Wait, I think we better call it quits while we're no longer ahead. But yeah, this week, if you buy something online, the link is on the page, and we'll put your name in, and we'll get Dusty to draw your names out. So that'll be
you
cool.
not just eat it.
I can. There's ways around that. Oh, we're just joining. Christopher Trail's just joining us for the end. Thank you, says Alison Page. Thank you, Alison, for joining us as usual.
There you go, guys. I'm just singing your praises, Christopher Trail.
Yes, she was just singing your praises, Christopher Trail.
That's worth every fiver.
You'll have to go back about 20 minutes. But But right, okay, well that's us, and we shall see you maybe sometime on Wednesday, but if not, it will be next week, and we'll have Wednesday's bit of video for next week. So,
Thank you for joining us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila.
Bye now.
No, thank
Bye.
you very much for inviting me.
No problem. Anytime.
Nice photo.